everyone. Another round of My 123 Cents Q&A. I want to thank everyone who goes to facebook.com/My123Cents, clicks like, of course, and then asks questions. And I try to answer them the best I can, offering up, of course, my 123 cents. So let's get to the first one. It is from Ken, and he asks, is the WWE missing true tag teams, not just two singles guys put together? I would say the answer to that question is yes, but I do think the situation is getting much better. Of course, right now the current tag team champions, as of this vlog, are Daniel Bryan and Kane. Obviously, two single stars, two guys that really don't even necessarily get along, but Kane has been in that role of being paired up with other guys pretty much since he's been with the WWE, of course holding the tag team championships with Mankind, X-Pac, The Undertaker, The Big Show, the Hurricane, Rob Van Dam. So he's held the tag team titles with a lot of different partners in this kind of two singles guys getting together setting. I'm not a big fan of that. It has worked out in some cases. I think the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn back in the late 1990s, or I guess probably the mid-1990s, 96, 97, they were put together. Billy Gunn coming off of a run as a tag team with Bart Gunn as the Smoking Guns, and then kind of transitioned briefly into the singles. And then the Road Dogg, of course, coming into the WWE, being associated with Jeff Jarrett, and then, of course, forming that tag team. So that worked. The New Age Outlaws became one of the most iconic tag teams from that era of wrestling. So I don't always have a problem with two individuals being paired up as a team. A case where I don't think it's worked out is Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, despite the fact that they were the tag team champions. To me, they never were a tag team. I like it when the teams kind of match with, matching gear. If you take a look at the Usos, of course, right now, Epico and Primo, the Primetime Players. The WWE seems like they're kind of focusing back on tag team wrestling. I hope that is where they are headed, in fact, with these teams and these feuds that are brewing. And I'm wondering if Kane and Daniel Bryan are kind of going to be champions briefly to kind of get some of these other teams over, and then we'll have a tag team division. I don't think we'll ever go back to the 1980s where we had Demolition, the Killer Bees, the Young Stallions, the British Bulldogs, the Rougeau brothers, the Hart Foundation. I don't think we'll ever get back to that kind of tag team wrestling where you had a Survivor Series match that had 5 teams on each side, so you had 10 teams competing against each other, and they were all legitimate tag teams. I don't think we'll go back to those days, but I do think, and I'm always optimistic on this, and I've been burned so many times before, but I do think we are on the verge of something big on the tag team scene. Jason asks if I could draft 10 wrestlers from any company and start my own promotion, who would be the first 10 on my roster and why? Great question, and I've been thinking about this since it was posted last week. And I've come up with a list, and these aren't necessarily in order, but I kind of grouped them by company that they work for now. So, I'm going with CM Punk as one of my centerpieces. He, is the best in the world. I do believe that he is one of the best things, one of the hottest things going right now in professional wrestling, and I think that he would bring, obviously, a lot of value to a wrestling organization. His number one rival right now, John Cena, would also be on my list. And I know a lot of people criticize Cena, but I think John Cena, number one, is a great human being. He is a great face for the WWE. He gets that corporate necessity that is needed out there. I think a lot of times fans forget that, and fans of the internet world especially criticize him for that. But John Cena is a team player and is somebody that I would want working for me. And he's very popular. People love John Cena. People hate John Cena, but he would definitely, I think, bring people to the show. Daniel Bryan is another person that I would have on my list. He is a great wrestler. He has shown through this whole feud with Kane, he's really shown since he's come to the WWE that he can virtually do anything with anyone. He is not above doing some of these silly, and sometimes I'm wondering if the WWE is purposely throwing some of this stuff at him to see how much he'll take, and he's taken it all, and I have been entertained the entire time. Dolph Ziggler, love his in-ring work. I think he is great. it's only a matter of time before he gets a legitimate run as the World Heavyweight Champion. I have no doubt about that. He'd be the champion in my company for sure. Another man that some of you may never have heard of before is Pac. I'm not talking about ex-Pac, Sean Waltman. No, I'm talking about Pac. He is from Dragon Gate and the indie scene, basically. Has wrestled all over the world. I would highly suggest checking out AAPW All-American Pro Wrestling Main Event on DVD. You can go to aapwrestling.com to learn more about that. I had the opportunity to meet Pac back in January for that show. First time I got to see him wrestle in person. Hadn't really known a whole lot about him before that, but I was blown away with his athletic ability, and then also his spirit and his kindness backstage. He was very humble, very generous. Just a really great guy who I think brings an important ethic, a work ethic to the world of professional wrestling. Someone else from All-American Pro Wrestling, and I'm lumping a couple of tag teams in here and counting them as one, so I hope that's okay. Team Overkill, Christian Rose and Matt Cage. Sorry, Matt. They are the AAPW Tag Team Champions right now. And have been since December. These guys together as a unit work so well. They're great singles individual wrestlers as well, and that would be the advantage of having a tag team signed like these two guys, because they could split off and do their own thing as well. These guys are phenomenal athletes. They have a great work ethic as well. I know them personally, and I'm proud to say that I do know them. Another AAPW star, Heath Hatton, he is quickly on the rise, appeared at WWE Extreme Rules against Ryback. A great talent, and another guy who has worked. He has stayed hungry, and he has his eye on the prize, and he's going to keep working until he gets there. The throwbacks from Chikara, Dasher Hatfield and Mr. Touchdown. Mr. Touchdown is also the current Lions Cup champion. I like these two as a team. Again, they could also go individually. They would bring kind of the comedy element. Mr. Dasher Hatfield would. Mr. Touchdown is a little more serious in there, but these two guys, I really enjoy their work as well. Sara Del Rey, perhaps the greatest women's wrestler out there. I had the opportunity to see her wrestle a couple of times at Chikara shows in Chicago and Lafayette, Indiana earlier this year. Totally impressed. I think that she can mix it up with the guys. At both shows that I was at, she wrestled guys. So I really think that Sara Del Rey is a shining star in the world of women's wrestling, in the world of wrestling in general, and I think could really has crossed those gender lines and would continue to do so, and hopefully train both men and women to become better athletes as well. Rounding this out with the TNA Heavyweight Champion, because I didn't have anybody from TNA, I felt like I needed to have somebody on there, and the obvious choice would be Austin Aries. He has been someone too that rose from the independent scene very quickly, a very talented professional wrestler in my view. There are so many talented men and women out there that I wanted to add to this list, but I was asked to do 10, so I did technically more than 10, but I threw a couple of tag teams in there. So what do you guys think? Who would you have in your wrestling company? Be sure to weigh in here. Don't forget again to subscribe to this channel, and also go to facebook.com/my123cents and check us out there.